Hi everyone. I'm going to discuss square of a trinomial. So first we have to define what trinomial is. So when we say trinomial, it's a polynomial with exactly three terms. So these are examples of trinomials. So we have 5x minus 2y plus 1. So we have five terms, namely 5x, negative 2y, and 1. Another example of trinomial is x squared plus 3y minus 7. And then we have a plus b minus c. So all these three are considered as trinomials. Now, before we work on squaring a trinomial, let us recall how we multiply the two trinomials. And actually, the product of x plus y plus z and x plus y plus z is the same with the square of x plus y plus z. So that is what we're going to work out and come up with a pattern whenever we square a trinomial. So recall that in multiplying polynomials, we always distribute all the terms of the first factor to all the terms of the second factor. And then we simplify by combining like terms. So what we're going to do here is to distribute the first term of the first factor to all the terms of the second factor. So we have x when multiplied to x is x squared, while x when multiplied to y is xy, and then x again when multiplied to z is xz. And then we multiply the second term, the first factor, to all these terms of the second factor. So we have y times x is xy, while y times y is y squared, and y times z will be yz. And then lastly, we distribute the last term of the first factor to all the terms of this second factor. So we have z times x. So we have xz, and then z times y, we have yz, and then z times z gives us z squared. And then we combine like terms to simplify our answer. So we'll bring down x squared here, and then xy can be combined to another xy. So we have 2xy, and then xz plus xz is 2xz, and then we have y squared, we have 2yz, and then z squared. Now, if we're going to arrange each of these terms in descending order, such as degree 2 or expressions with the exponent 2 will be the first terms, and then followed by the remaining three terms. So we have x squared plus y squared plus z squared plus 2xy plus 2xz, and then plus 2yz. Now, we come up with six terms as we multiply the two trinomials. And as what I've mentioned, when rewritten, the two is, or the factors of the two, or the product of the two is also equal to the square of x plus y plus z. Now, working on the result as we multiply the two trinomials, which are exactly the same, we'll come up with the product equal to this. And this will serve as our pattern whenever we square a trinomial. And here, we denote x as the first term of the trinomial, y as the second term, and z as the third term. So whenever we square a trinomial, take note that the first three terms are actually the square of each of these terms. So we square the first term, plus we square the second term, and then we square the last term. The last three terms, if you notice, have constant two factor. And then when we say xy, we multiply the first and the second term, and then we double that, or times two. And then we also multiply the first to the last term times 2. And then we multiply the second and the third term times 2. So that's how we work on the square root of trinomial. So working on this pattern, we can now solve for each square of trinomial. Now, in the first example, I'm going to substitute the given in the formula and then simplify our answer. Take note, class, that this 2a will serve as the first term, wherein in our pattern, this is your x. And then the second term is 3b, which is represented by y. And the third term is c, which is denoted by z in the formula. So what we're going to do is to substitute each of these terms in the formula here to come up with the square of trinomial. So first, we have to square the first term. So we have square of 2a plus, and then we square the second term. So this is square of 3b. And then we square the last term. Then the fourth term will be twice the product of the first and the second term. So this is 2 times the first term times the second term. And then the fifth term is twice the product of the first term again. So that's 2a this time times the second term. And then lastly, we have 2 times the second term, 3b, times the last term, c. And then simplifying the answer, we have square of 2a is 4a squared, while square of 3b is 9b squared. And then the square of c is c squared. And then 2 times 2a times 3b gives us 12ab. And then 2 times 2 times c, so this gives us 4ac. And then 2 times 3, or rather 3b times c, this gives us 6bc. So this is now our answer. Actually, you can work on the square of the trinomial even mentally. So without substituting the given in the formula, we can right away provide our answer for the square of trinomial. So we have square of the first term. So what's the square of 5x? So it's 25x squared. And then what's the square of the second term? So what's the square of negative y here? So this is plus y squared. And then what's the square of the last term? 4, 16. Now we have 2xy. So this is 2 times the first term 5x times the second term negative y. Take note that the second term, class, is a negative sign. So this will give us a negative value on the fourth term because we are multiplying two unlike signs. So again, this is 2xy, which is equal to 2 times the first term times the second term. So we have 2 times 5x. This gives us 10x times negative y. So this is negative 10xy. And then for the fifth term, so this is 2 times the first term times the last term. So this is 2 times 5x. So this is 10x times 4. So this gives us 40x. And lastly, for the last term, we have 2 times the second term times the last term. Again, this will give us a negative value since we are multiplying positive by negative by positive again. So this is 2 times negative y. So this gives us negative 2y times 4. So this is negative 8y. So this is our answer for number 2. For number 3, again, we'll square the first term. So this is m squared. And then we'll square the second term. So that's 3n times 3n. So we have 9n squared. And then we square the last term. So this is plus 36p squared. And then the fourth term is equal to 2 times the first term times the second term. So this gives us 6mn. And then the fifth term is 2 times the first term times the last term. So this will give us again a negative value on the fifth term. So this is 2 times m, 2m times negative 6. This gives us negative 12mp. And then the last term is 2 times the second term times the last term. So another negative value. So this is 2 times 3n. So this is 6n times negative 60. So this gives us negative 36 NP. So for number 4, the first term is the square of the first term. So this is 16h squared. And then we have square of negative 3j. So this is 9j squared. And then square of the last term, 1. So the fourth term is 2 times the first term times the second term. So we have 2 times 4h. So that's 8h times negative 3j. So we have minus 24hj. And then for the fifth term, so we have 2 times the first term times the last term. So we have 2 times 4h. So this is 8h times 1. This gives us 8h. And for the last term, we have 2yz. So that's 2 times the second times the last term. So this is 2 times negative 3j times 1. So 2 times negative 3j is negative 6j times 1 is negative 6j. So that's for number 4. And then for number 5, again, we square the first term, the second term, and the last term. So we have square of 7g, 49g squared. Square of 3h, we have 9h squared. Square of 2 is 4. And then 2xy, this is 2 times 7g times 3h. So this gives us 14 times 3. So we have 42 GH. And then plus 2 times the first times the last term. So this is 14 times 2. So this gives us 28G. And then 2 times the second term times the last term. So we have 2 times 3, 6 times 2, then we have 12H. So for number 6, we'll get the square of the first, the second, and the third term. So we have 25v squared for the first term, and then 4w squared for the second term. And then we have square of 4, 16. And then 2 times the first term times the second term. So this is 2 times 5, 10 times 2. So this is 20 VW. And then 2 times the first term times the last term. So this is 2 times 5, 10 times 4. So this is 40 V. And then for the last term, so this is 2 times the second term times the third term. So this is 2 times 2, 4 times 4 is 16 W. And then for number 7, we square 8a squared. So this is 64a to the fourth. And then square of 3b is 9b squared, while square of negative 11 is 121. And then 2 times the first term times the second term. So that's 2 times 8, that's 16 times 3. So we have 48a squared b. And then 2 times the first term times the last term. So we have 176. So this is minus 176 a squared. And then 2 times 3. So we have 6b times negative 11. So that's negative 66b. So that's the answer for number 7. This time, I want you to write your answer in the next slide. So I want you to work on the square of each trinomial here. And I want you to write your answer in each item in the comment section of this video. I hope you are able to understand our discussion. See you next meeting.